I am a working professional and I also trade as well. And I know a lot of you guys work regular jobs, 9 to 5s, where your time is limited and you have to be very strategic about how you use the free time that you have in order to learn this skill set. So I want to show you a way that you can do that, an approach that will yield you pretty consistent results on a regular basis. Hey y'all, it is so good to be back and making content for you guys. Finally, I got stuff hooked up, and so I should be back on a regular schedule. But today's video is really me wanting to share some tips with you guys that I've learned over the past 7 years. In about a month, it will have been 7 years that I've been on this forex trading journey. The things that I've learned over the course of these years that can kind of help level set with you guys as far as your expectations, and then hopefully give you some insight into what you could potentially expect as a new trader in the space, or even as somebody who's been at this for 2 years, 3 years, whatnot. I want to go through those things in this video and share with you my insight. As you can imagine, on this journey, there have been a lot of ups and a whole lot of downs. And that is something that I didn't necessarily expect as I started out in this space. I was brought into the company or into the world of forex trading like many of you were. I had already had an interest in investing. I had already had an interest in trading. I've set up a E-Trade account. I had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to be a part of investing. And so forex came along and I joined the company that many of you guys had joined, and the way in which it was presented to me, there were no failures, right? Everything was gravy. The grass was super green. And I quickly began to see, as I rushed my process, I deposited money with a broker, I would say within a month, if not sooner, learning how to trade when I actually hadn't learned how to trade. And I began to lose money, and I lost a lot of money within that first year. Those down moments really prepared me for the rest of the journey. And it kind of sobered me from the idea that everything is all great, that this is going to be easy, that I'll have this, I'll be rich in no time. And you guys have heard it before, not only on my channel, but you've heard it on other channels. This is not a way to get rich quick. It's a long-term play. And I want you guys to realize that. I will share with you that the biggest lesson that I have learned over these past 7 years is that you got to treat this like a job. If you are casually approaching learning how to trade, you're going to get casual results. It was not until I took this seriously that I began to see some progress in my trading. I mean, set a schedule for myself on a consistent basis where I sat down, I marked up charts, or I sat down and I studied, or I just did something on a regular basis that was in relationship to trading. It was not until then that I began to see progress, that the dots began to connect, and that things began to make sense. And I think the hardest part about it was sitting through information I did not understand. When you first learn something, it's extremely difficult to connect the dots, especially if you're doing this on your own. It's extremely difficult to try to understand concepts and theories. But what I learned is that the more I stayed in that information, the more I sought out pieces that could help put things together, the more that information just started to appear. And I know that there's a saying, like, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's what this kind of reminds me of. The more I started looking for information to help me figure out how to trade, the more the information, the right information, came into my pathway. Being consistent with sitting down, with studying, with marking up charts, that's the biggest thing. And I kind of touch on that in past videos, but I think it's more than just marking up charts, because there's more to trading than just the technical side. And I know on this channel, I talk a lot about technical, but the technical part is going to be the easy part. That's what you're going to be able to pick up and grasp in comparison to understanding the world that's behind the scenes as far as forex is concerned. You have macroeconomics. Like, how many of y'all thought y'all were done with econ in high school or college? Raise your hand. I know I was. It was not my favorite subject, but when looking at it from the perspective of being able to capitalize on what is happening worldwide economically and understanding the impact of the decisions that were being made, it helped position me to be in a place where I could profit. So it became a little bit more interesting than it had been in previous years. It is going to require your patience, it is going to require your dedication, and it will require your commitment. This is not easy. It is not something that you will pick up and be able to make $1 million next week. The next thing that I've learned over the course of these 7 years is that you can't compare yourself to anybody. If you do that, you will disappoint yourself. You will have yourself feeling down about your progress. You probably are making progress, but if you're comparing yourself to somebody else, you won't be able to see that. As difficult as it might be, you have to block out all the noise. But then I had to have some real hard conversations with myself and going back to, am I putting everything into this that I could do in order to make sure that I grow and that I advance? Some of y'all need to have real conversations with yourselves too. I get messages from people who say, hey, I've been watching your videos, I approach the charts like you do, and I'm still not getting results. But honestly, what did you do at one time? I've been guilty of that in the beginning and in the past, like very upset that I wasn't seeing results. But deep down, I knew I was not putting in the effort and the work that was needed in order to see those results. And so there's this meme that's been floating around on Instagram that says those results that you want are in that discipline that you keep avoiding. And so having the discipline to sit down whatever day you choose to study, to go through charts, to do whatever, that's going to make the world a difference in what you do. Now, the other thing that I've learned is don't rush to the market to lose your money, because that's exactly what's going to happen for a lot of y'all. The market is going to be here. The market will be here for you to take advantage of it once you've learned what to do. And I know how it is. When you first get in, when you first start learning this, you're excited and you're ready to go. Like, this is easy. I can do this. Practice makes progress. So you need to become a beast in demo. Ain't nothing wrong with demo. Don't let nobody tell you it is. You need to master this skill set in demo first. And you need to document your process. When I say document your process, I simply mean you need to be logging your trades. You need to be logging why you took a trade versus why you did not take a trade. What did you see on this time frame that made you believe that you should enter? You also need to be extremely strict about your rules. What are your rules to enter a trade? What are your rules to exit a trade? Become laser focused on those things. And when you execute according to your rules. Don't bend the rules. So over these 7 years, what I have also learned is that no matter how long you've been trading, there will always be something for you to learn. I guarantee it. And having been doing this for 7 years, I'm telling you, from my experience, there's something new that is added to the mix that helps me in my trading journey. If you think you know everything, you're destined to fail. You're always going to learn. And then the other thing that I've learned is nobody is ever going to be 100% right in trading. I watch some of y'all and I'm like, you get so frustrated with yourself, and it's like you're not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Like you a lot of y'all hold yourself to high standards and you beat yourself up when you're not able to consistently reach that. And you got to give yourself some grace. You got to be patient with yourself, and you got to be realistic. Now, the other thing is that you will need to make sure that you find education that makes sense for you. No matter what it is, who it's with, make sure that it makes sense for you. I've shared this before, that when I started out trading, part of the reason or the issue that I was having was that I was trying to follow a process that didn't really make sense for me. It made sense to the instructors, it made sense to other people that were in my group, but for me, I couldn't connect the dots. And so that's when I sought out trying a different approach. And I stumbled through some stuff to get to the point that I'm at today. It doesn't matter how excellent and how good the information is that you're receiving It's only relative to if it's good and makes sense to you. Does that make sense? So that's also something to consider as well. Those are the things that I've learned over the past 7 years that I have enough time to share with you guys in this video. But I do encourage you, if you are struggling and you're looking for something that makes sense for you, make sure you check out the no cost mini course. I am a working professional and I also trade as well. And I know a lot of you guys work regular jobs, 9 to 5s, where your time is limited and you have to be very strategic about how you use the free time that you have in order to learn this skill set. So I want to show you a way that you can do that, an approach that will yield you pretty consistent results on a regular basis, but it will take commitment from you, it will take dedication, and it will take patience. So if you're up for that challenge, make sure that you go ahead, you register for the no cost mini course, and I will see you there. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and like I said, I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy to be back, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Make sure you connect with me on social media too. The links are in the description below. I'll see you next time. Have a great and profitable week.